We welcome you to college softball on ESPN from the campus of the University of Oklahoma. The first of a three-game set between the #1 Oklahoma Sooners taking on their arch rivals from Oklahoma State. Oklahoma is on a roll. They are unbeaten so far in the Big 12. One win today will clinch them their 8th straight title. Oklahoma State needing a sweep of this three-game set in order to get the Big 12 championship themselves. And we welcome you to Norman. Pam Ward along with Jenny Dalton-Hill, the NCAA's all-time leader still in career RBIs. And Oklahoma has dominated this series, but Oklahoma State's a really good team this year, and they think they have a great chance this weekend.
They have really done well offensively, a season program record in home runs, doubles, and slugging percentage, but they're going to have to go up against the hottest team offensively in Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma is on a terrific winning streak, 35 games and counting, but Oklahoma State has now won 12 straight games, 3 straight series sweeps, but they've lost 20 straight games to OU.
And right now, Oklahoma very confident. Oklahoma State needing to come away with the sweep to get the regular season championship.
So Kenny Gajewski has never beaten Patty Gasso in Oklahoma, 0-10 so far, and you see the Sooners absolutely dominating. This series was supposed to start last night in Stillwater, but it was rained out, so they will play a doubleheader tomorrow in Stillwater, the first game at 11:30 a.m. Central Time.
And Gajewski said, I am so tired of losing to Oklahoma. I want it to be this year that this streak ends.
And he really thinks that his team has the opportunity to do that. The rainout yesterday gave us a great opportunity to see the aces for both teams. Usually G. Juarez and Samantha Shao would have gone last night, but we get them tonight.
And G. Juarez doing such a great job for Oklahoma in the circle. She comes in as a transfer from Arizona State, but has made a dominant performance in this, her opening one for Oklahoma.
She is 20-0, and for this Oklahoma State team, hitting .307 as a club, and Riley Bayless leading things off in Bedlam. 2019 is underway.
G. Juarez comes in, it's those middle of the 60s, so she's not going to overpower hitters with her speed, but it's her movement. She loves to throw up in the zone. As a hitter, you have to be disciplined, stay off that rise ball if you want to be able to hit this ball in play.
And putting the ball in play is something that a lot of teams don't really do. That was one of the points Kenny Gajewski made when we talked to him earlier this week, that this Sooner defense, which is quite good as usual, they don't get a lot of chances out there.
And the Sooners right now are leading the country in fielding percentage. Not a lot of errors, but the ball not being put in play.
G. Juarez has had quite a first season here in Norman, unbeaten and with not one but 2 perfect games. There's a ball put in play. And Kaylee Clifton, who is so solid at second, tosses her out.
G. Juarez loves to be able to go up in the zone, but it's that off speed that has been able to dominate hitters. She goes away with a screwball and just is able to hit all quadrants. For her, the strikeout has been her dominating factor so far on the season. 162 strikeouts. She's done such a great job of just commanding the zone and keeping OU ahead.
She is coming off her second perfect game of the year against Iowa State. She faced 15 batters and struck out 12 of them.
For her, the strikeout is the way to go. It's sometimes hard on defense to be able to stay alert with so many strikeouts happening behind the plate.
And now here is a great matchup as Samantha Shao steps in. She will be the starting pitcher for Oklahoma State, coming over from Texas A&M. And she has had a great year at the plate as well, leading her team in home runs, RBIs, and bat flips.
And in her last game, she had a walk-off home run against Texas Tech. She has figured out offense, and from the circle, she's really made a difference for Oklahoma State.
A mighty swing on that one. So you are looking at the Big 12 Pitcher of the Week in G. Juarez, facing the co-Big 12 Player of the Week in Samantha Shao.
The one thing that Gajewski loves about her is her energy that she has brought to the program. He says she's just been a spark plug for us, and because of that energy, our dugout is alive, and she has absolutely gotten us going.
Down 0-2, and it took 3 pitches for Juarez to strike her out.
when you're vulnerable to the rise ball, it sets up that changeup, and G. Juarez throws a nasty one. It moves, but Xiao very good at swinging at pitches not in the zone. That changeup so hard to keep up with, though, too.
So it only took 3 pitches for Xiao to be dismissed. Here now is Maddie Sue Montgomery, the senior from Burleson, Texas, who has the most runs driven in the history of Oklahoma State. She has had quite a career. The seniors, it's senior day, senior weekend for Oklahoma, and the Oklahoma State seniors all got flowers from the OU players to recognize what they have done in their 4 years, or in some cases 1 year at Stillwater. Xiao playing her one and only season.
That curveball just so nasty. I love the way that it comes out of the hand. And one of the things that we talked about with Gasso before the game was that she just needed to be more dominant on the inside corner against righties.
Just got a piece of that one. I would think if you're a left-handed batter facing that curveball, ouch.
Well, it gets in on your hand so quickly. The thing that's hard as a right-handed batter in this matchup is that a curveball can start right at you and then veer last second over the plate, and it just freezes you because you think you're going to wear it.
That one is off the plate. Oklahoma having to replace the catcher Leah Wodak, who was so great behind the plate. Lindsey Elam, who was a sophomore but barely played last year, has done a good job.
She struggled in the fall, but has been able to figure out how to be a little bit more productive at the plate. But behind the plate has been a great asset for them. The pitchers trust her. She's able to step in, and she was actually one of the question marks for Patty Gasso going into the season, not knowing exactly who she was going to put behind the plate because she wasn't able to figure it out in the fall. But after Christmas, came in and really established herself.
Full count pitch, and that is skied into center field. Mendez barely had to move, and that is a very nifty 1, 2, 3 inning for Juarez, the best hitting team in the country, coming up when we come back. Samantha Xiao about to face Oklahoma.
She's going to throw in the upper 60s. As a hitter, you need to make sure that that front foot gets down early enough. You need to attack a rise ball pitcher by staying off that ball that starts belt high. So with Xiao up in the zone, she's going to need to keep that ball a strike or get the swing and a miss to be effective in this one.
See, she has very good numbers, and Xiao has been doing most of the pitching against the top teams, the top 15 teams. She's pitched 52 of 68 innings, and look at this lineup, beginning with Sydney Romero, and it just keeps on going.
I mean, you can't get out of your own way. I mean, right now, the top of the lineup for Oklahoma, look at those numbers. Absolutely dominating. And right now, Sydney Romero at the top of the lineup leading the way.
Sydney Romero leading the Big 12 in batting average, home runs, RBIs, and having a great senior season.
That's a good way to start her, knowing that Sydney Romero loves to be aggressive early in a count. She's a very patient hitter. However, if you start her with that changeup, it puts it in her head that that's going to come back later in the at-bat.
Bounced in. Mackenzie Thomas does the catching for the Cowgirls, but is not in the batting lineup. Here's a good look at Mackenzie.
Defensive specialist for Oklahoma State. She steps in and takes care of things behind the plate, but will be hit for offensively.
Xiao behind 2-0 to Romero and make it 3-0.
You wonder how much the emotion of this game comes into play into the performance of Xiao in the circle. We know that Xiao loves to be aggressive and loves to have energy and emotion. However, if you let that get out of hand, it's hard sometimes to find the strike zone.
Romero taking all the way and takes the strike. Kenny Gajewski right before the game, the head coach for Oklahoma State, that said Xiao had to stay within herself tonight. Part of that is managing emotions. I mean, you're a senior. This is her first Bedlam game, and here she is starting against the #1 team in the country. And that is a 5-pitch walk for Sydney Romero. Take a look at the defense now behind Samantha Xiao. Alexander, Factor, and Bayless from left to right. And we already talked about the catcher Thomas Shayla Richburg over at first. And you have the very steady veteran second baseman, Maddie Sue Montgomery, who has never missed either a game or a start in her entire 4-year career.
The thing that's so incredible about that is the fact that she tore her ACL in the summer between her freshman and sophomore year, and so she had to rehab and was then healthy and active enough to be able to start the very next season.
Fale Palima Aviu, known as Fale. Patty Gasso, the head coach, who's won 4 national championships, now in her 25th year, and she told us before the game she thinks Fale is like the perfect number 2 hitter.
She has such barrel control. She doesn't have to bunt her to move runners. She's able to place the ball where she wants it. A great number 2 hitter.
She's got quite a pronounced split grip as well, does Fale Aviu, a senior from Oceanside, California. Doesn't strike out a lot either.
What that split grip does, though, Cam, is it gives her more barrel control. So not only is she very good with hand-eye coordination in that number 2 spot, but because she has that split grip, she's able to place the ball a little bit better in her swing.
And how about this? 8 pitches for Shao, 7 balls, and an early mound visit.
Well, and how do you get a great offense? It's with discipline at the plate. And so far, Oklahoma making Shao come to the dish. And she's bounced them in. She's thrown over the heads of some of these hitters. Right now, just the emotion of this moment may be too big. And Gajewski recognizing that he needed to send out his pitching coach to go out, settle her back down in, and get Jeff Cottrell out there to just talk her down off the ledge.
Cottrell in his 2nd year as pitching coach. As Aviu steps back in, 3-0. Romero had the leadoff walk. She's over at first. Aviu takes it and it nips the plate. Brian Crochet calling balls and strikes tonight. Terry Holt over at third. Bubba Ewald is the umpire at first. Beautiful night. Sun is out. It's not that humid, especially for Oklahoma this time of year. Very pleasant. 3-1 pitch, takes it, and that is called strike 2.
And this ball down in the zone is a good spot for Shao to finally find. That's the one that she was trying to nip earlier that was hitting in front of the plate or just at the feet of the hitters. So right now, Shao looking to be settling in.
So now a full count pitch, and Aviu goes the other way, gets the single, and the Sooners have their first 2 on.
And with that split grip, it sometimes can pull the barrel out ahead of your hands and you become a pull hitter, but Aviu does a great job of keeping her barrel inside this ball and driving it the other way. Great execution to not only move runners, but get herself a base hit.
So 2 on now after Aviu gets the base hit. She's in the top 10 in average. This is sort of a murderer's row for this Oklahoma team that is first in the nation in batting average. And now here's Kaylee Clifton hitting .405. Just a little bit lower with runners in scoring position. And Kaylee Clifton, the senior from Wayne, Oklahoma, the glue of the team.
And right now riding a 9-game hit streak for her. She's a spray hitter. She comes in and is able to just put the ball where it's pitched and able to just make contact, drive it through the defenders. For her, she's a perfect number 3, hitting over 400.
Takes that high pitch and sends it into the stands. As usual, a sold-out crowd here at Marina Hyde's Field. Toby Keith among those here. He was he was out there to throw out one of the first pitches today. Lincoln Riley, the head football coach, is going to be here. It's a big event here, this softball team, and especially when Oklahoma State comes in. 1-1 pitch to Clifton. Did she hold up? Yep.
And while you go to the umpire to see if she advanced through the zone, he's in a tough spot. With the runners advancing at first and second, his positioning is now off the line, so his view of that call a little bit harder to make.
So now the 2-1 pitch with 2 on. Another low one. As the pitch count only at 15, because she's just not throwing a lot of strikes.
but she's missing down in the zone, and that's a good place to miss. You want to make sure that when you are throwing a rise ball that it doesn't sit flat, especially against the top of the lineup for Oklahoma, who right now leads the nation in home runs per game.
She has gone to a 3-ball count on all 3 of the batters that she has faced. Samantha Shao.
And it's usually the first inning that you see hiccups when a pitcher trying to figure out the strike zone and what is being called and what isn't. But the balls that she's throwing right now are not questionable. They're in the dirt. They're away from the zone. Oklahoma does not need to elevate their heart rate as these balls are coming in because they're not even close.
And now a 3-1 pitch to Clifton. And she tags that into left field, but well positioned. Chelsea Alexander grabbed it and then doubled off Sydney Romero. So a base running mistake by Romero leads to the double play.
So to be the #1 team in the nation, you know that you have to be aggressive on the bases. However, you've got to be smart. Romero tracks this ball, but recognizes too late that it is right at Chelsea Alexander in left field. Because of that, not even a close play trying to get back to the bag.
So 2 on, nobody out, to 2 out and 1 on. View over at first, and here is Jocelyn Allo, who last year as a freshman hit 30 home runs, tying the great Lauren Chamberlain's single-season record that she did both in her freshman and sophomore years here.
The numbers that Lauren Chamberlain were able to put up were mind-boggling, and I thought there's no way that anybody's ever going to be able to duplicate that. And then in steps Jocelyn Allo. I mean, look at those home run numbers. Absolutely mind-blowing. Lauren Chamberlain with 95, and that's the number that Allo is chasing.
And at the bottom of that graphic, our own JDH, Jenny Dalton-Hill, who, and you had 76-0 to sneeze at, but you were teammates with both Bratz and Espinoza.
We
Holy
hit
smokes.
3, 4, 5. I mean, imagine that kind of murderer's row. Very similar to what you see here at Oklahoma in the kind of offensive production that they're able to have.
3 Women's College World Series championships for you. 1 second-place finish. On the ground to Naomi. And a good pickup by Richburg over there at first. And boy, Samantha Shao was skating on thin ice, but got out of it, helped by the double play.
I wear number 11 because Coach wouldn't let me wear number 10.
I wear number 7 because lucky number 7.
I'm number 2 because of Derek Jeter. I wear number 4 because I had a huge crush on Vane LeCavier when I was like 7, so it just stuck. I wear 63 because I wanted to stand out.
I'm number 34 because I used to be 44 and Lauren Chamberlain is the GOAT, so we gotta let her be.
Yeah, I would say number 44 is not available. Fale of you, who has made a name for herself in her 4-year career, but Lauren Chamberlain, there she is.
Right
Boy.
over her shoulder, out there in left field, Lauren Chamberlain, she is the GOAT. I mean, for her to be able to hit that well, and in her first and second seasons, 30 home runs apiece, right? But then she gets hurt, had some back injuries, also a knee injury, and for her to still set that record, imagine what would have happened. She'd sat out 25 total games that senior year. Imagine how many more she could have had.
Certainly well over 100. She beat the great Stacey Newman's record at UCLA, which stood for quite a while. But boy, what a treat it was to watch Lauren Chamberlain play here at Oklahoma.
Watching her senior year, Patty Gasso said, you know, I would rather have a hurt Lauren Chamberlain on one leg than anybody healthy with 2. I mean, that's how dominant she was in the box.
And Chamberlain is out in left field, part of this packed house. Scoreless as we go to the second inning. Michaela Richburg, or Michaela Richburg, excuse me, spelled like Michaela, but pronounced Michaela. My apologies to the Richburg family. She is from Broken Bow, Oklahoma. Sophomore, primarily a pinch hitter last year. Now, as an everyday player, having a tidy year, as you can see by those numbers, hitting .315. And in the cleanup spot. And G. Juarez looked great in that first inning.
For her to have 3 hitters come up and 3 first pitch strikes, G. Juarez has really tuned into the zone, is dominating, using that curveball, nipping corners. And right now, Michaela Richburg, she's the one that needs to go up against her, but she never played travel ball, Pam. For a softball player to play collegiately and never play travel ball, that's one of those things that I had to ask, did I hear you correctly when we were talking to Kenny Gajewski to make sure that I was hearing it right? But for her to be able to step in, not only produce, but also hitting the number 4, great job for her.
2-2 pitch from Juarez, and she just waved at it, but Elam had to make a play, and Richburg was able to beat it out.
Well, there was a little bit of a hiccup back behind the dish because as the ball hit the dirt and the swing happened, the problem is she now has to get the out. But recognize she finds the ball and then tries to set the lane inside, but that's where the runner is. Knighton set up on the outside, so she has to reset her feet and get to the outside, and notices that she's just going to be too late on the throw.
Great hustle by Richburg to get down to first, and that's the first base runner for the Cowgirls. And again, that's a relatively inexperienced catcher back there, first year as the starter for Elam.
And I wouldn't say that was because of inexperience. Where the ball was, it did pull her closer to the field, so I would have assumed that I needed to set that lane on the inside part of the line as well, but that's where the runner was. Knighton had moved herself to the outside to try to declare that lane.
So that's credited as the second strikeout for Juarez, but a pass ball to Elam that allowed Richburg to get to first is Cheyenne Factor, true freshman from Yukon, Oklahoma. And her numbers are really good, leading this team at a 362 clip. And this is an Oklahoma State team that has played well, especially as of late. Just a couple of losses in the Big 12. One of them was to Baylor, who is having a very down year. Kenny Gajewski feeling very confident heading into this series. Richburg over at first, not much of a threat to steal, as only 2 of them on the season.
But when you put that bat down to look like a sacrifice, a lot of movement takes place. So sometimes they'll show that as a fake to see what kind of movement you will produce to see if they need to put it down again.
Foul ball. Sun is setting over the left field wall. If you're hitting right now, does that affect you at all?
No, it's not in your line of sight. So the long shadows are a part of it, but no, it should not affect your line of sight because the sun is too far over to your left.
And a 2-2 pitch to Factor. Just got a piece of that. Gajewski in his 4th year. He has taken his team to the NCAAs every year. Will do so again this season. And he is an Oklahoma Sooner. He won a baseball national championship. He was a teammate of Tim Walton, who was the head coach when Kenny was an assistant at Florida.
And he also served on the grounds crew during the 2000 national championship of this Oklahoma softball team. And so he talks about, I even have a ring from that 2000 Oklahoma national championship sitting in my desk back at Oklahoma State.
But he is 0-10 against them as a head coach of the Cowgirls. Factor just fighting them off right now. 2000 was the first of 4 national championships, and 2000 was almost Patty Gasso's last year here.
Her and her husband were living in different states. Husband living in California, and Gasso here recognized, you know, we've got 2 little kids, this is too hard to do separately. Then wins the national championship in 2000 and is able to come back with a little bit more money that would then bring their family and unite them here for Oklahoma. But G. Juarez, I mean, it's the changeup. It changes the game. Not only does it change speeds in an at-bat, but as a hitter, you come out on that front side. It is so hard to combat. But Patty Gasso loves the left-handed pitcher, and G. Juarez stepping on campus has been the difference this year. Just a transfer coming in from ASU.
4 championships, all of them with great left-handers on the staff, and now Juarez transferring from Arizona State. As Jenny said, is she the next one to lead them to the Women's College World Series? I think a lot of people would be shocked if they don't get there this year.
Well, that would be my guess. Before Juarez came in, they only had righties.
Taylor Lynch. Now, you want to look at a tough kid. Look at number 6 at the plate. She is playing with a torn ACL.
And not just that, her whole entire career has been plagued by knee injuries. She's had 3 knee surgeries and said, you know what? I got hurt in the fall. I'm not going to miss my senior year. I think this is the team that's going to be able to go to Oklahoma City. I'm not missing it. I'm playing hurt.
Does have the brace on the right knee, but she could not catch up. Juarez with her 3rd strikeout of the inning. But the drop 3rd strike has Richburg over at first.
So she uses the changeup to change speeds. She takes it away from that left-handed batter and rides it away from their hands. It's so hard to catch up to, and especially as it's riding away. The rise, the curve, the changeup, she's a complete package in the circle.
Now Sydney Pennington tries to figure out first pitch swinging. Pennington, one of the captains on this team as a sophomore. Was on the all-freshman team last year in the Big 12. Juarez has struck out 4 of the 6 batters she has faced. Coming off that perfect game when she struck out 12 of the 15 batters she faced in the 5-inning run rule win.
2 perfect games on the season. She has come in and just really settled into her own. She feels comfortable here in Oklahoma and has not skipped a beat from the numbers that she put up at Arizona State.
And she's ahead of Pennington 0-2. 4 strikeouts in 1 inning for G. Juarez.
G. Juarez using every single pitch she's got and using them well. The changeup, the rise, the curve. She's putting them down and putting her team back in the dugout. G. Juarez, the strikeout on the side.
How about that? A .64 ERA for UCLA, number 2 in the country behind Oklahoma. And Samantha Schau, after first inning, she was a little shaky. The double play obviously helped her to get out of that.
Well, but right now, just throwing too many balls in that first inning, had 2 full counts, 3 3-ball counts, and just not enough strikes to combat that.
Grace Green goes the other way, and that is caught, tracked down nicely by Riley Bayless. Now, Samantha Schau also known for a couple of pretty infamous bat flips.
Well, and the first one happened at Oregon, and it was in a situation where it was towering. It was a no-doubter. But look at the way that she flipped it. It was a walk, it was a look, and it was a toss. And a lot of people saw that as very disrespectful. Kenny Gajewski, though, says, you know what? That's energy, and it's not meant to be disrespectful to the other team. It's just meant to pump up our dugout. But I think it was very polarizing for a lot of the nation to see that happen in a sport where it's usually celebratory and positive, for that to come out from Schau against a team like Oregon.
That was in early March. Here's Shay Knighton, one of the 6 seniors who are being honored this weekend. Knighton playing on a couple of bad knees. And she has been terrific, was the most outstanding player of the World Series a couple of years ago. Had a huge home run. That one's lifted towards Bayless. And we talk about bat flips. Jenny Dalton Hill, this is the Women's College World Series 96. And what's this?
Yeah, it's a plate stomp.
That's a stomp.
It's a little disrespectful. I can't lie. That's meant for my team. The problem is it's in a very public arena, so it's not like you're in the dugout where you're able to just share that moment with your teammate. That is one that is very public, and I would say that as I look back on that, it is not something I want to be remembered for.
Mendez pops out to the catcher to end the second inning. It looked to me like you were kind of stomping on a bug. I've seen more exaggerated plate stomps. We're scoreless in Norman. Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. Game 1 of the 3-game Bedlam series. G. Juarez has 5 strikeouts. Scoreless game as we head to the top of the 3rd.
G. Juarez only credited with 4, though, because of that drop third. It did allow the base runner or the hitter to advance to first base. A little bit of a mix-up behind the plate with Elam, but not anything that needs to be worried about.
Juarez has been terrific. The transfer from Arizona State. There you see the ball-to-strike ratio is quite good. Facing Chelsea Alexander, the number 8 hitter. Oklahoma State trying to break a 20-game losing streak against OU.
And so Juarez using that curveball and the changeup, that just those 2 pitches set each other up. Because that pitch comes in on the hands of the righty, you have to get out in front of it because that curveball comes into you. So because of that, that changeup comes in slower and you're way out ahead.
Got Richburg who reached on the pass ball and then struck out after that. Factor Lynch and Pennington. Juarez threw 20 pitches, 16 of them for strikes in the second inning. And she's just got touched there by Alexander to keep her alive. Chelsea is a sophomore from Ada, Oklahoma, on the all-freshman team last year. Great numbers after she was primarily a pinch runner early in her career. I would say Giselle Juarez is on a roll.
She is definitely feeling it right now. That rise ball working well.
You know, tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo, so it's only fitting we have the second game of the Mexico series in Monterrey between the Astros and Angels. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. You can watch from anywhere. Today is May the 4th be with you, right?
Star Wars Day,
Star
right?
Wars Day.
Tomorrow, though, make sure you get out your tacos. Well, I get out tacos. A lot of other people get out other things.
Yeah, there are some beverages that might be flowing in the United States tomorrow. Kylie Naomi, the number 9 hitter. As you see, she is from Louisiana. Head coach Kenny Gajewski said that she's a freaky athlete and actually said sort of like Bo Jackson, and that's quite a comparison.
And she's not that big in stature. I mean, very small, very athletic, but to be compared to an athlete like Bo Jackson, it tells you that she's got a lot of different skills and can produce both at the plate and in the field.
Up in the air, and Knighton can't catch up with it. And again, Knighton is playing. She's got 2 just bad knees.
There's no other way to say it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you do just have to pull the stops out and admit, look, coach, I'm hurt. And so this senior year is definitely not one that Shane Knighton was expecting. She wanted to be a contributor like she was in 2017 when she was the most outstanding player at the College World Series, but just not able to be as mobile as she wants to be.
She has missed 5 games in DPs when her knees are really bad, and there's yet another strikeout for Juarez.
But what do you do when your rise ball's working? Well, you just climb the ladder, and that's what G. Juarez is doing. This one in the eyes of Naomi, but she goes for it just like a fish going after a lure. I mean, that one out of the zone, but too hard to hold up on.
The strikeout count continues to mount back to the top of the order, and Riley Bayless, who is one of only 2 the first time through the order who put the ball in play against Juarez. Everybody else struck out.
And that's probably why she's at the top of the lineup, because she is so consistent at the top, able to see a lot of pitches and put the ball in play.
Grounded out to second, her first time up. Juarez works relatively quickly. Oklahoma with a new pitching coach this year, Jennifer Rocha, coming over from Florida, as Melissa Lombardi went and took the head coaching job at Oregon. And there's Jen signaling in the pitch.
Lombardi, the previous pitching coach, known to love the lefty in the circle. Caught the lefty when she played here at Oklahoma, but then also able to coach it very well. Jen Rocha, though, so dynamic as a pitching coach, able to be at Florida for 13 seasons and win 2 national championships.
Graduated from Oklahoma in '99, so she played for Patty Gasso for a couple of years. And G. Juarez, she became Juarez tonight.
Well, they say gee whiz because this ball just goes right by. She uses the rise for her first 2 strikeouts, but then rides it in on the hands of the lefty, breaks it back over the plate for strikeout number 3.
Is Bedlam in Norman. Oklahoma State and Oklahoma scoreless, just 1 hit between the 2 teams. As we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, the number 1 ranked Oklahoma Sooners set down an order in their last inning against Samantha Shao in the circle for the Cowgirls. Well, G. Juarez has been terrific as the counterpart, no hitting Oklahoma State so far with 8 strikeouts through 3 innings. Lindsay Elam, the sophomore catcher, pops it up, and it is tracked down in foul territory by Pennington. So Bedlam is special no matter what sport is played. And Oklahoma State is winning on the left column as far as most sports winning, but Oklahoma has won in football and men's basketball, and they've been dominating in softball.
Right, and they split in women's basketball, and so not a winner there. But right now, Oklahoma has the advantage, but nobody's got a run on the board in this one.
And because last night's game was rained out in Stillwater, it will conclude tomorrow with a doubleheader up the road in Stillwater as Grace Lyons comes to the plate. The first one at 11:30 local time, followed by a 3 local time. So they're going to play that doubleheader. Gajewski out of the dugout for that slight delay. But a tough doubleheader tomorrow. It takes about at least an hour and a half to get up to Stillwater from here. And both Oklahoma State and Oklahoma start finals on Monday. And that last pitch was an illegal pitch, Jenny.
It was. So while it was called a strike to begin with, there was a leap. She left the ground with that right foot, which makes it an illegal pitch. It was called, and so it will be changed to a ball, and now it sits 2-0.
Right down the middle for the strike.
You like to see a pitcher that is aggressive. However, they must keep contact with the ground at all times, and so that drag foot needs to be able to stay on the ground as it moves forward. She did not do that. That's the illegal pitch call. She'll have to be aware of that as this game progresses.
Upstairs, Lyons fouls it out of play.
So check out her feet. It's that right foot. It leaves the ground. There's no contact. It's a leap up rather than keeping in contact. That's the illegal part of that pitch. That's what has to be corrected for her to stay legal through that pitching lane.
Drag that back foot, and that is a base hit under the glove of Richburg. Second hit of the game for OU. We have game 4 between the Raptors and Sixers. Philly leading 2-1 tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern. It's NBA playoff stuff on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. NBA Countdown gets it all started at 3 Eastern time. Raptors trying to avoid falling into a 3-run hole. One of those things as the NBA playoffs roll on. So now top of the order, Sid Romero walked and then was doubled off second in the first inning. So first time through the lineup, a couple of singles and a walk given up by Shao. Most importantly, no runs scored for an Oklahoma team that averages over 8 per game, which is tops in the nation.
And Romero at the top of the lineup, we asked Patty Gasso, why do you put such a powerful, dynamic hitter in the top of your lineup? She says, because she leads our team in on-base percentage. She's got power. She has very positive short game. So for her, she's our emotional leader, and we follow how she goes at the top of the lineup.
Pennington trying to turn 2, and they do! A nifty double play to end the inning. Still scoreless. When we come back, we will speak with Oklahoma head coach Patty Gasso. By Oklahoma head coach Patty Gasso, and G. Juarez has 8 strikeouts already. He's not given up a hit. Can you just talk about what she's meant to your squad this year?
She's a bit of a difference maker for us, no doubt. Good mix of speeds and good location. She's a warrior on the mound.
Now, Shay Knighton was the most outstanding player at the Women's College World Series in 2017, but we see her in a much different role this season. What is she doing for your team?
She's a real emotional leader for us, and Shay's just a warrior. I mean, through pain, through whatever she has to do, she's trying to contribute to the team offensively and defensively. So I'm really proud of her, especially with the pain sometimes that she goes through.
Okay, Coach Gasso, thank you very much. It's very emotional. Not just a Bedlam series, which is always big, but it's the senior series. There's no doubt that Oklahoma's going to host a regional, and if they win that, a super regional, but still senior weekend, senior day is always special, and Knighton is one of the most special.
Well, and because they know there's so much emotion going on, they will recognize their seniors after the game rather than doing it before, and really playing into the energy that they bring into this series.
Samantha Shao struck out her first time up, the first of 8 strikeout victims. You see the 15 home runs. How about 15 home runs is tied for the program best in any single season for a cowgirl. Or as Lauren Chamberlain would call it, April.
Good point.
Puts it on the, that's a beautiful bunt, but nicely played. How about that? Elam bouncing out from behind the plate to gun down Shao.
Well, and she has to. Knowing that Knighton does not have the ability to get down the line, she simply stays home. And Elam, heads up play, chases that ball down. Shao a heads up, though taking that bunt down first base, recognizing that's where no man's land will be. But kudos to Elam back behind the dish, Lyons back behind the dish, excuse me, for her to be able to chase that down and get that out. No, Elam. I'm all over the place.
You're correcting yourself and don't need to. Lindsay Elam behind the plate. Again, she's taking over. Leah Wodak is one of the student assistants. She had been the catcher for the last few years, solid behind the plate, and Elam showing a veteran move there. So Shao is retired. Here's Maddie Sue Montgomery, who flew out her first time up. Got it on the corner. 9 Ks for Juarez. Patty Gasso, in her 25th year as the head coach, 28th season actually as the head coach, is in the Hall of Fame. And you see that she's just dominated the Big 12 since she took over. They're going for their 8th straight regular season title, and she's got 4 championships.
She has taken this Sooner team to the postseason every single year. Patty Gasso has stepped on this campus and absolutely dominated, not only in the sport of softball, but has really set the tone for the rest of the athletic department to follow suit.
Those are all the World Series appearances, and the ones in gold were the titles. Richburg pops it up. Elam gets it. That's a quick 1-2-3 inning for Juarez. Samantha Shao played her first 3 years at Texas A&M, and now concluding here with Oklahoma State, and was shaky in the first inning, but has settled down rather nicely since.
It's hard to hit against a pitcher that is effectively wild, and right now Shao settling in, but still not as zoned in on the plate as I'm sure Gajewski would like her to be.
View first pitch swinging, and Naomi went very well to her left to throw her out. Tomorrow on ESPN at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, it's the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship duel from Gulf Place Beach in Gulf Shores, Alabama. You can also watch it streaming live on the ESPN app from anywhere. That's always a fun event. You're a California girl. You like the beach volleyball?
It's so fun. Last year, the first year that ESPN was able to put that on TV, a great event. And Courtney Lyle, my partner last year, able to be there and call that as well.
I know you miss her. Kaylee Clifton up for the second time. UCLA, by the way, trying to repeat in beach volleyball.
Well, look at you throwing out the beach volleyball knowledge.
That's it begins and ends right there.
Well, Pam, I like being your partner too.
No, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Just move farther over to the left. Kaylee Clifton lined out her last time up. And that led to Sid Romero being doubled off second as Oklahoma got runners on first and second with nobody out, and then the double play and a ground out got Shao out of trouble.
When asking Coach Gasso about Kaylee Clifton, we said, you know, what is it about her that makes her so dynamic? She's not very showy. She doesn't stand out in your lineup, but what makes her so important? She said, she's our glue. I can take most people out of our lineup and we'd be fine. But she's one of those hitters and one of those players that if I take her out, something just feels like it's missing.
She was also thrilled that Kaylee was taken in the NPF draft by the Chicago Bandits, so Kaylee's going to give the pros a shot. Just one of those people who've just been steady all 4 years in Norman. Sends that one deep, long, and out! Kaylee Clifton breaks through. Her 14th home run of the season gives OU the lead.
And Coach Gasso says not only is she have a plus arm, but she hits the ball hard as well. And this one she tattoos, goes oppo with it. The ball on the outer half, lets it travel deep and just absolutely gets on plane and takes this one. She knows off the bat that this one's gone. With the finger in the air, she doubles her home run numbers from last year, number 14 on the season. And Oklahoma pulls ahead.
What a spectacular senior year for Clifton. Her batting average well over 100 points higher than her junior year. And as Jenny mentioned, she has doubled her home runs from 7 to 14, takes the curtain call. Back-to-back games, too, that Clifton has hit a home run. Did that in OU's last game when they run-ruled Iowa State. That was the Juarez perfect game. And speaking of home runs, here's Jocelyn Alo. She only has 12 this year, down from the 30 last year. And Coach Gasso thought she was putting a lot of pressure on herself early on, and actually she sat out the Kansas series when they went on the road, and it kind of gave Jocelyn about 6 days off to just take a breath, get away from softball, and it has worked.
Just need a moment to pause, reflect, and not try to duplicate a year that was unprecedented. For Alo to hit 30 home runs, yeah, we saw Lauren Chamberlain do it, but that doesn't make it an everyday occurrence. And Alo came in with what she felt was a lot of pressure, trying to put up the same kind of numbers and just could not produce. Only 12 home runs this year, but they've been good home runs.
And she's hitting right around 400. I mean, these numbers, most players would kill to have these numbers. They would love to have these numbers, but for Alo, after that spectacular freshman year, putting so much pressure on herself, waited on that one, sent it, and forget about it. Clearing the center field wall, Jocelyn Alo goes deep.
It's a no-doubter, and that was an off-speed pitch. Alo has so much power that she can take a ball that's basically got nothing on it and use that power to just drive it deep. It was high, but ladies and gentlemen, that one cleared the second fence here in the stadium. Alo knows it. Beautiful swing. And Xiao, all she can do is watch it go. You can't defend a home run, and the ball elevated on a changeup is like putting it on a tee for Alo.
Back-to-back home runs by Clifton, and Alo makes it 2-0. And Jocelyn shows us, yeah, she still got it. She's still got a little pop in that bat.
But that's what that pause did for her. It gave her a reset. Sometimes when the CD's not working, you have to blow on it, put it back in the recorder or in the machine, right? Obviously, kids this day and age don't understand.
I love your 20th century reference.
But when it doesn't work,
right,
you've got to pull it out and try something different, right? And that's what they were able to do. Push a little reset during that Kansas series, give her an opportunity to sit back, recognize where she needed to be, and then just reevaluate and come back in.
Such a talented kid from Hawaii. Pennington throws over to get Green for out number 2. A lot of ground balls being thrown by Xiao, but 2 gopher balls in this inning, back-to-back for Clifton and Alo.
And coming from 2 very big hitters that sit in the 3-4 spot, that's their job, to hit with power. So they set that swing plane early and go for the launch angle that takes the ball out of the yard.
So now 2 out, nobody on for Shay Knighton, who flew out her first time up. We talked about her quite a bit, the senior, who split time between DPing and first base this year. Another fly ball, trackable for Factor, who has to come in for the final out. But how about a couple of dingers for the Sooners?
What do you do when you cannot put runs on the board? Well, you ask your big swingers to get it out of here. And Oklahoma's up by 2.
Norman, where history has been made. Over 2,000 people here for the first time ever, over 2,000, the largest crowd in Oklahoma softball history. And among those in attendance, Lincoln Riley, the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, head football coach, has some recruits on campus, and boy, what a great event to take people to see this, and a couple of home runs giving G. Juarez a 2-0 lead.
Well, and where do softball recruits get to go for their visits on campus? They go to football games. So it's kind of cool that the football recruits get to come in and watch a softball game in front of a packed house.
Well, this is the place to be right now. Oklahoma, the #1 team in the country. G. Juarez pitching a no-hitter so far, and has struck out 9 through 4 innings. She has struck out each Cowgirl once. Each Cowgirl has struck out against Juarez tonight. That's up in the air. Knighton tracks it. Point number 1.
And Juarez, in her last 4 games, has just been so dominant.
Tonight at Top Rank Boxing Sports Center with John Butchercross and John Anderson. Warriors Rockets highlights plus a complete Kentucky Derby recap. They had a weird finish. That's all I know. And then they'll wrap up a highly entertaining UFC Fight Night 151. Sports Center, 12:30 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 Pacific on ESPN and ESPN app. You live in Lexington, Kentucky. What the heck happened?
I have no idea.
That's why we got to watch Sports Center. Here's Taylor Lynch, who struck out her first time up. Some crazy stuff happening at the Derby earlier today.
A disqualification, I know, is what happened. So that's that nasty curveball that just runs away from a left-handed batter. They're not used to seeing that pitch, especially coming in at the velocity that Juarez is able to throw it with. It's running away from them. They just can't catch up. Hard pitch for Juarez.
Juarez coming over from Arizona State. Oklahoma having to replace a couple of Pages, and Paige Parker and Paige Lowry, who were the aces in the circle. But a very disappointing finish. Oklahoma got to the World Series last year and only played 3 games before being eliminated. Their offense, which had been so great, became stagnant at the very worst time of the season. They got shut out twice by Washington to be eliminated.
And you wonder what a season it looks like when you don't lose very much during the regular season. I mean, last year's record, they were 57-5, only 5 losses on the whole year, most of those coming at the World Series. And then right now, just 2 losses in the regular season.
Unbeaten in the Big 12. Almost a collision, Mendez and Alo, but Mendez, the center fielder, able to make the grab. Oklahoma actually, eliminated in 4 games. They were shut out by Washington, and then won a couple of games and shut out by Washington again. And this was almost an uh-oh.
Well, it's all about communication in the outfield. And as you come across, everybody's talking. And so what happens is, as you're yelling, you don't hear the other defender doing the exact same thing. So what I would try to tell my athletes when I was coaching was make sure that when you call, you leave a break before the next call. That way you can hear if there's another defender coming in yelling at the same time. If you're just yelling mine, mine, mine successively, what happens is you don't hear the other defender on their approach doing the exact same thing.
Shelby Pennington, or Sydney Pennington, pops it up, and that is into the stands. Does a center fielder have priority all the time, or does it depend?
Your center fielder and your shortstop are the 2 positions that have the priority in their spot. Outfielders have priority over infielders. So as an infielder is going back to get a ball, an outfielder can call them off at any time, and the priority goes to the outfield. Center field takes priority over all outfielders.
Nicole Mendez is the center fielder for Oklahoma. Again, Oklahoma leading the nation in fielding percentage for the 2nd straight year. Only UCLA has a better earned run average. This is quite a team out in the field right now. 1-2 pitch to Pennington. Romero gets to make a play and does it flawlessly. Still no hits against Juarez. Right here, Bedlam, among those things discussed. Also crazy here in the SEC. Big matchup in the Big Ten. Minnesota Northwestern play today. Shag and Stats. Listen now on the ESPN app, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Alabama picked 8th in the SEC this year. They didn't finish 8th.
They did not, but they've got a big weekend right now at LSU. So they won game 1, but in that 7 Innings podcast, there was a big talk about this showdown right here, the Bedlam series. They gave it a great preview.
And it is a great series. G. Juarez, however, is just one pass ball, a drop third strike away from what would be her 2nd straight perfect game.
I mean, right now, Juarez doing such a great job, relaxed in the dugout. In this one, she's got 10 first pitch strikes on 16 batters. She is getting ahead early and then just toying with them through the rest of their at-bat.
Nicole Mendez leading things off. Juarez, the Arizona State transfer, just picking up where Paige Lowry left off last year. Mendez popped out to the catcher her first time up. Oklahoma with back-to-back home runs in the fourth by Kaylee Clifton and Jocelyn Allo. That is all the offense. The two mistake pitches by Samantha Shao. Oklahoma wins this game. That means that they are the Big 12 regular season champions for the 8th straight year.
Dominance in this league and also across the nation, sitting #1, putting themselves in a great spot to move into not only the Big 12 championship, but postseason play as well.
#1 team in the rankings, #1 team in the RPI. Patty Gasso, and she said her team was fueled by that disappointing finish in the World Series. So much was expected as they went up the road, yes, Oklahoma City north of here, to play in the Women's College World Series, and especially the seniors like Romero wanting to go out, Knighton wanting to go back to the World Series and prove a point.
Well, and one of the advantages that the Big 12 has is they play their postseason tournament in Oklahoma Stadium. And so they're able to go to the Women's College World Series site a week before postseason play begins, gain some confidence and some familiarity with that field, with that atmosphere, and especially this year with it being a new stadium, they're going to be able to experience that, so the stars won't be as bright when they head in there trying to win another national title.
Mendez behind 1 and 2, a little off speed. Mendez a couple of years ago, the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. Mendez up again this year. That is a foul ball. Samantha Shao and G. Juarez battling in the circle today. Juarez so far with a no-hitter and a couple of solo homers off of Shao, accounting for all the offense. Juarez still loose. And Shao pounds her glove. That is her first strikeout of the game.
A very believable rise ball. That one gets over the bat of Mendez, but that's what Shao's been needing, to just be a little bit more disciplined on the zone and not having those pitches so far away that they're not even looking like strikes.
Number 8 hitter Lindsey Elam, the catcher, popped out in foul territory against Shao her first time up.
Elam, one of those players that Coach Gasso says was just the most improved in defense and in offense coming out of the fall. She elevated her game and she absolutely earned her spot. She had to fill some very big shoes of Leah Wodak. Great catcher, graduated, and now trying to come into her own.
Goes up top and can't catch up.
Well, and that's the pitch you cannot swing at. If you want Shao to bring the ball back into the zone, you've got to let this one go. When it's in your eyes, you cannot try to take a hack. It looks big, but it is unhittable.
Shao did not strike out anybody in the first 4 innings, and now trying to get back-to-back Ks here in the 5th. And a smile from Sam Shao, a lot of personality. Kenny Gajewski had mentioned that he's taken his, kind of taken the reins off a little bit, let the players play a little bit more freely as his career has gone on at Oklahoma State. And that's a solid single for Elam. So some activity in the Oklahoma State bullpen. That is Gabby Sprang up and throwing. Sophomore from the state of Minnesota, who is a transfer from Tennessee. And Patty Gasso coming out to get the pinch runner for Elam, the catcher. And it's going to be Reagan Rogers, who is one of the seniors on this team. So her senior weekend as well. Reagan, a senior from Blanchard, Oklahoma, who has been primarily a pinch runner in her career here at OU. And Grace Lyons, who singled her last time up, steps in with one away.
In watching the play of Grace Lyons in this, her freshman year, the thing that I've been most impressed in is her defensive play at shortstop. She's had to step in against some of the best bats in the country, and she's been able to field her position well, make plays that are absolute Sports Center highlights, and she makes it look easy. We talked to Patty Gasso about what is it that makes her so successful in this, her freshman campaign. She said she's surrounded by senior leadership. At third, she's got Sydney Romero. At second, she's got Kaylee Clifton. And they support her and encourage her and make her what she is.
And she also has Kelsey Arnold, who is a grad assistant, and Arnold was the shortstop, and just a terrific player and one of Gasso's all-time favorites. So that's a lot of help. She's behind 1 and 2. Taps it. Smart play by Pennington to let it go foul.
So we talked about how she is surrounded by so many good players, but this just taps it. But a smart play down the line by Pennington lets this one roll foul. It's an all-star lineup of coaches that has really put these athletes in a great position to be successful. They've got a pitching coach who's won national championships at Florida. They've got JT Gasso, who is an absolute hitting mind.
Skied to the second baseman Montgomery for the second out.
We talked to Patty Gasso about JT Gasso, her son, and she said, he's a nerd. She said, but I mean that in a good way. I mean, he's so analytical, and he's able to look at the numbers and translate those into ways that we can help our hitters. So we don't necessarily give our hitters the numbers. JT gives them the fixes. And that, for an athlete, is great because you're able to play by feel, not necessarily by the analytics of what you're supposed to be doing.
Sydney Romero trying to get something done with 2 outs, and she does! Rogers, the pinch runner, is being held at third. Sid Romero with the 2-out double.
Romero at the top of the lineup has done great things in extra bases. She has 3 triples on the year, but this will be her 15th double. Gets her hands out ahead of this one, gets the barrel on plane and out in front. Drives this one into the left field. Down the line. Didn't need to slide, but the energy that Romero is able to bring this year, the senior class, this is the difference that Oklahoma needed. Last year, like you talked, Pam, they didn't like the finish. And these seniors are trying to make sure that they don't end early at the World Series.
And how about half of Sid Romero's hits have gone for extra bases this year? 34 of her, now 69, so just under half. That's pretty good.
And that's pretty good fast math.
And it might even be accurate. Folly of View has singled and grounded out. 2 runners in scoring position up top and up high. The View takes it.
We talked about that split grip in her first at bat. That gives her more barrel control. And now with runners in scoring position, she just needs to place this ball beyond the infield, and she's going to put another run on the board for Oklahoma.
She's ahead 2-0. Naomi, low throw picked up by Richburg, and the Sooners strand 2, but they lead it 2-0. Juarez coming out pitching a no-hitter. Back to Norman, G. Juarez is really good tonight.
Using the changeup to get these Oklahoma State hitters out on the front side. She's been using the curveball and the rise as well, but she's got 9 strikeouts in this one. It was the 4th inning, though, that put Oklahoma on the board. Kaylee Clifton going the other way, knew it off the bat. That was 1-0 Oklahoma. Next batter, Jocelyn Alo, changeup, power over the wall, 2-0.
And take a look, Samantha Shao with those 2 mistake pitches. Has given up 6 hits, 2 of them solo home runs. And G. Juarez, who in her last game pitched a 5-inning perfect game, is 1 pass ball away from a perfect game today, but is pitching a no-hitter with 9 strikeouts. Last inning was the first inning in which Juarez did not strike out at least 1 Cowgirl as we head to the 6th inning, game 1 of a 3-game Bedlam series that will conclude in Stillwater tomorrow with the doubleheader. Rained out last night in Stillwater, so this is game 1. Chelsea Alexander struck out her first time up, and so pinch hitter is in there. Alaya Flores. I'm sorry, Sydney Springfield. Wrong number 15. Springfield, the LSU transfer. Trying to solve the unsolvable so far, G. Juarez. And that's off the glove of Sydney Romero, who cut in front of Lyons. Let's see. Will it be the first hit surrendered by Juarez?
So the thing that's hard about this one, in that 5-6 hole, Romero knows that she needs to try to cut this one off. But because she nips it, gets a little bit of leather on it, it prevents Lyons from being able to come across in that 5-6 hole. She's got a plus arm that could have gotten the out across the diamond. But because it's tipped, it still gets a base runner on.
Still no ruling on that, but you're right. It looked like Lyons was in great position in the hole to be able to field it. Had to zip it across to get Springfield, but that's the second base runner for Oklahoma State, and their first since the 2nd inning. So Alexander back into pinch run for Springfield, who just pitch hit for her. Knighton, great effort, but unable to get it. In foul territory, and you can see, and now the shoulder. And she's going to go all out on every play.
She is. She's a senior. She knows what it takes to win. This popped up bunt was a ball that she could have gotten to in the past. And right now it's the body that prevents her from getting there. That was a tough one. Not only was it a hard fall, but she landed on her arm really awkwardly as well. And you don't want to lose Shay Knighton for the postseason. Is this game worth leaving her in and giving her time on her senior day more important than her coming out and being healthy for the postseason? And I think that's the conversation, and I think that's what'll happen.
And that's one thing that Coach Gasso has talked about Shay Knighton, that she's not going to say, hey, I'm going to go in there when she's not feeling it. She's going to come out of the game, and she's staying in the game.
And she says, you know, I have a very honest relationship with Shay Knighton. Coach Gasso says we are honest with each other, and she will tell me when she is hurting to the point that she needs to come out. And right now, Shay Knighton not wanting to come out.
So she will stay in with Naomi sending it foul. And the official scorer has ruled that Sydney Springfield got a pinch hit single. So the no-hitter is no more. Singling off the glove of third baseman Romero for the first hit for the Cowgirls today. Romero with a chance for the out. Juarez has now gone 6 straight batters without striking anybody out.
I mean, you're jinxing her all up and down. I mean,
what's happening?
This is crazy. But what that means is Oklahoma State is making adjustments at the plate, and that's what has to happen if you want to put runs up on the board. Kenny Gajewski doing a great job of just helping them make adjustments.
And here's the top of the order. They are only down 2 runs. 2 solo home runs for OU. Gillis has grounded out and struck out looking. Coach Gajewski Because he's sick of losing to Oklahoma. He is 0-10. His team, this program, Oklahoma State's lost 20 in a row to OU overall. Oh, Bayless frustrated.
And we talked about emotion. Xiao came in and really opened the floodgates for what was acceptable. Bayless, very emotional player as well. And because she is able to show the emotion like Xiao, it really helps pump up the dugout.
Clifton trying to turn 2 and not able to do that. Lions throw tonight was just a shade too late.
Well, and that comes from getting out of the box hard, recognizing that there was the potential for the double play. Down the line, Bayless beats it out. It's a great turn, but Bayless at the top of the lineup has a lot of speed. That gave her the chance to beat that one out.
Boy, very close play there at first. So now here's Samantha Xiao leading this team in home runs and RBI. Starting pitcher tonight. Tried to get a bunt down. It's a nice bunt, but a good play by Elam, who bounced out from behind the plate, was able to throw her out. And that goes past Elam. And allows Bayless to get to second on the wild pitch by Juarez.
Just an uncharacteristic pitch for Juarez. The whole windup looked different than the other pitches she had thrown. It came out the side of her hand, but you could tell that it just got away. And behind the dish, Elam cannot get out wide enough to be able to block that one up. It looked like it was a changeup that maybe just didn't come out of the hand the right way and just stayed wide.
So now the speedy Bayless is at second. Blew that one by at 62 miles an hour.
Well, that's what happens when you embarrass yourself on the pitch before. You're not going to let the next one get away. And so she's going to come back with something hard and down the middle. That would have been the pitch that Xiao needed to unleash on.
Looking inside. And Elam faked to throw back to second as Bayless was drifting off a little bit. Nice stop that time by Elam, and now they have Bayless in a rundown. And it goes off the glove of Clifton, and Bayless is going to third, where she is safe. So Oklahoma, the best defensive team in the country, having a couple of hiccups.
The best fielding percentage in the nation, and a rundown should take no more than 2 throws. This one back and forth and back and forth. The problem is they're not transitioning correctly. Because of those transitions not happening, you had backpedaling, and the backpedaling creates your eyes moving, and there's just too much going on. You've got to trust that the defenders behind you are there to take care of what they need to do. Just an awkward play for Oklahoma.
Now Jen Rocha, the pitching coach, comes out for the first time to talk to Juarez, who was just breezing through until this inning. A pinch hit single to lead off by Springfield, off the glove of Romero, pop up, and then reaching on a fielder's choice, a wild pitch, sending Bayless to second, and that rundown sends her to third, and an error has been charged to Clifton, the second baseman, for dropping that last throw, as Shannon Sale goes down into the bullpen for the Sooners.
And it was that one pitch that really made the difference for Juarez. The one that got away from her almost got in her head, and she's not been able to recover. And the hiccup has now given Oklahoma State an opportunity to capitalize on some defensive miscues.
And both of our pitchers today, Samantha Xiao now hitting, and G. Juarez in the circle, some of the notable transfers who have come into their new schools and made huge impacts.
And Juarez, one of them, coming in from Arizona State, unbeaten this season, 20-0, perfect record for her. Those strikeout numbers so high. But look, Samantha Xiao, another one of those notables, and Amanda Sanchez at LSU. And Lindman at Florida.
And Kendall Lindemann was just so dynamic at Minnesota, burst onto the scene, the Big Ten Player of the Year as a freshman, and now down at Florida. And Samantha Shao able to work the walk. The runners on the corners with 2 away. That is the first walk given up by Juarez, who was pitching a no-hitter through 5.
Well, coming into this inning, right? She was in a no-hitter, but that pitch got in her head. And then the defensive miscue has also shaken things up for Oklahoma. Shao not the fastest runner at first base. They'll make a change.
Shaylee Brantley running for Shao over at first. And now it's up to Maddie Sue Montgomery. She has flown out and struck out. And that pitch was low. No one in the history of Oklahoma State has more runs driven in than Montgomery. And all of a sudden, Juarez can't find the strike zone. All 3. Sold out crowd, largest crowd in the history of this stadium, getting very restless. .3-0 pitch. A 4-pitch walk loads the bases. Back-to-back walks surrendered by Juarez.
This is not expected for G. Juarez in the circle. She came into this series with just 23 walks on the season. Now giving up 2 back-to-back walks and puts the bases loaded for Oklahoma State.
And with 2 away, here's Michelle Richburg. Takes the strike. This is the 21st start for Juarez and only the 5th time that she has had 2 or more walks. Going to your point of the terrific walk to strikeout ratio. It's unusual for her even to have 2 walks, and she's had them here back-to-back. 2 walks in a game. She had them back-to-back now. And now back-to-back strikes, and she's seeming a little bit more fired up after that throw back by Elam.
I would not anticipate a changeup here. That seemed to cause the wheels to fall off. So Richburg with a lot of power, 12 home runs on this year, had a grand slam in their last series. This would be a great time for her to be looking to put a charge in one.
Both teams playing very well. Oklahoma State has won 12 in a row coming in, including 3 straight series sweeps in the Big Ten. They are 2nd in the Big Ten. Trying to take out an Oklahoma team that has not lost a Big 12 game in over 2 years. She did go off speed, and Richburg couldn't catch up. Strikeout number 10 is huge for Juarez.
And what do you do when you can't dominate a pitch? You go right back to it. A beautiful pitch, and it gets Oklahoma out of a very sticky situation.
Big story for G. Juarez, who took a no-hitter into the last inning, loaded the bases, and then got out of it with their 10th strikeout of the game.
And it was not a strike. It would have walked a run in, but the swing gets the strikeout and gets Oklahoma out of it.
She's having a conversation with her catcher, Lindsey Elam, in the dugout as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Bedlam, game number 1. Pam Ward along with Jenny Dalton-Hill on a lovely evening in Norman, Oklahoma.
Well, now that the sun has set, it prevents a lot of those miscues that I think can happen defensively because of the sun being where it is.
Kaylee Clifton hit a home run her last time up. So get this, Kaylee Clifton has scored 57 runs this year by herself. Clifton, Oklahoma's opponents have only scored 57 runs, period.
So it's a tie game.
It's a tie.
Or it's a tie season if you put Kaylee Clifton against everybody else.
So Clifton with 57 runs scored, and in the now 48th game of the year, Oklahoma's only given up 57 runs as a team.
So it's Clifton against all y'all.
Yes, Clifton versus everybody. Clifton and Allo with solo shots in the fourth, accounting for all of the scoring in this game. And Shao is behind 3-0, taken all the way by Clifton. Let's go back to that dinger.
On the outer half, and just gets on plane early, gets her hand set, gets the turn, and then just gets the trot. A beautiful swing, takes it off of.
Clifton, one of the 6 seniors being honored today on senior night, and Shao didn't even have to leave the circle to get the first out of the 6th inning.
Typically, you don't like a pitcher to take those pop-ups. You want to call them off and get her out of the way, but Shao is not a player that will relinquish that very quickly.
No, she's not giving up any ground. Shao now facing Allo, who hit a home run a long way last time up.
Well, what was your home run call for her last year?
Allo, goodbye.
And she was able to do it off a changeup. That's the thing that's crazy. You put a ball on a tee and you try to hit it out of the yard. That's basically what hitting a changeup is like, trying to hit a home run. You have to supply all the power. Allo has it. It's a changeup out of the hand, but Allo, it gets left up in the zone. Because it's up in the zone, it's so easy to elevate on, and Allo does.
Hit that one a long way to center field. Takes that one inside. So now 7 straight games. We've talked about this Oklahoma offense all night. 7 straight games in which they have hit at least 2 home runs in a game. 19 home runs in the last 7 for OU. They have now hit 94 on the season. That is stung. That's going to get all the way to the wall. Allo runs well. And she follows up her homer with the double.
You know, the ball off of Allo's bat just sounds different. A powerful swing with a follow-through that gives it the extra oomph. I mean, Allo makes a difference when she connects like this. A ball that goes all the way to the wall. Listen to that thud. It is so solid and so powerful. The home run sounded the exact same way.
So back-to-back extra base hits for Allo. A homer followed by the double. Her 11th of the year. Grace Green looking for her first hit of the night.
We talk about the sounds of softball often, and the sounds have changed over the years. When you ask a pitcher what's their favorite sound, it's usually the snap of the glove on a hard strike. But the sound of a home run has changed from the time that I played to now. It used to be that high-pitched ping as it came off the bat. Now it's a thud.
And that's because of the different composition of the bat?
It is, and the rebound that is available to these athletes, I will say I am very jealous of. The ball can look like a pop-up and still clear the fence, where we had to swing from our toes to get the ball out of the yard back in the day.
It makes you wonder, not just you, a great home run hitter, but Stacy Newman, who had, 90 with the old bats. Imagine if she had this technology, how many would she have hit?
Well, I played second base, and I would have been playing out in a shallow right field if I had to play against a Stacy Newman with this kind of bat.
That is a fair ball. Allo comes in, back-to-back doubles for the Sooners, make it 3-0.
Grace Green came into this with a 10-game hit streak, extends that to 11. A Freshman of the Year finalist, and absolutely gets this one in the perfect spot under the glove of Pennington, gets all the way to the corner and gets Oklahoma another run.
Her 46th RBI of the season, doubling in Allo, who had doubled. And that's going to do it for Samantha Shao in the circle. So Shay Knighton steps in against Simonik. Patty Gasso had a question because I don't know if you noticed when we were going to break, it looked like Taylor Tuck, number 4, was coming in, and Patty Gasso thought that Tuck might have been announced and just wanted to make sure that everything was in order, and Simonik is in the circle. Shao over at first now. On the ground to Pennington. And Green is in a rundown, and then they eventually get Knighton between first and second. And Shay is holding that left arm funny. Remember, she dinged that up going for a foul ball.
But you can't stop aggression. You can't stop a competitor. So the rundown here, not played correctly by Oklahoma State. They don't have those reciprocal defenders coming in to make sure that they have the coverages correctly. So able to get back in for the tag, but Knighton gets tagged out. So it's still a runner in scoring position, but an out is recorded.
And Kylie making that tag on Knighton. Crazy play. So we have a new catcher as well. Dominguez now is catching for Oklahoma State. Raquel Dominguez is behind the plate. Bayless has gone from left field to right field. She's over in right field for Oklahoma State. Alexander's still over in left. Now Kylie Lundberg will pinch hit for Mendez. Lundberg, another of the seniors for Patty Gasso.
And that's the reason for this change, to give her a look here on her senior day. They will recognize those seniors after this game, knowing that emotion plays into it when you do it before and can change the dynamic going into a game.
Kylie Lundberg has a history with Patty Gasso. Her mother, Holly, played for Gasso when she was the head coach at Long Beach City College. So literally has known this kid before she was born.
Part of recruiting is recruiting the character of the athlete as well. And so when you're able to know the family in that kind of way, you know the quality of the player that you're getting when they step on campus.
Two-one pitch, and Lundberg takes it for a strike. Shay Knighton in the dugout after the tag out. And she's in pain.
But it's senior day, and I understand what it means to be playing at home for the last time in the regular season.
Lundberg over to Montgomery, flips it over to Shao to end the inning. Oklahoma State last chance coming up after the RBI double by Green. They're down 3-0. Jenny Dalton Hill, I'm Pam Ward, and we are in the top of the 7th inning. Oklahoma 3 outs away from clinching their 8th straight Big 12 regular season title and taking game 1 of this 3-game Bedlam series that will conclude tomorrow in Stillwater. G. Juarez has been brilliant. She's only given up 1 hit all game. This is her 5th straight start where she has struck out at least 10 batters. She's backing up a perfect game with this game tonight.
53 total strikeouts in those starts. I mean, just absolutely dominant. Double-digit strikeouts in each of those performances.
Julian Factor fouling it off. Oklahoma State with their 12-game winning streak on the line. And strikeout number 11. Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo, so it's only fitting that we have the 2nd game of the Mexico series from Monterrey, Mexico. It's the Astros and the Angels. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. So you can watch it from anywhere as long as you have a device to watch it on. That is coming up tomorrow. There's always that caveat.
You got to have the device.
Yeah, you get to sit there and conjure it up. That's coming, but not quite yet. So Factor was the 11th strikeout victim. Here's Taylor Lynch. That brace on the right knee, playing all year, tore her ACL in fall ball. One of the seniors on this Oklahoma State team. They will be honored after the second game of their doubleheader tomorrow in Stillwater, as the Sooner seniors will be honored after this game tonight. Their last regular season home game.
Lynch recognized when she tore ACL that would take her out for the year, and she said, no, I think this team is the one that's going to be able to go pretty far in the postseason. And we talked to Kenny Gajewski about what it's like for her to play. He said, you know, playing normal is still not healthy.
One-two pitch on the way to Lynch. And she's fought off the last couple of pitches. Oklahoma State, the number 13 RPI. Jen Rocha, the pitching coach for OU, coming over from Florida. Record crowd wanted that to be called a strike.
And it was close. You've got to make sure that the ball, all of the ball stays below the sternum, and I think it did. I think that's in the strike zone, but as the home plate umpire looked at it, he said, you know, no, give it another try.
That was good. 3 in a row, 12 overall for Juarez.
And she lost it in the middle of this game. Threw that changeup that went in the dirt, got between her ears, gave up a couple of walks, which was so uncharacteristic. But now the changeup is back and draws another strikeout. A tough one for Lynch, but another strikeout for Juarez.
Gee whiz indeed, a dozen for Juarez. The G is for Giselle, her first name. So that is back-to-back 12 strikeout games. She had 12 in her last game. It was a 5-inning perfect game against Iowa State. And earlier in that series, she had 10 against Iowa State.
So we're seeing that the changeup is not as consistent as perhaps Jen Rocha, the pitching coach for Oklahoma, would like. It is a devastating pitch when it is on, but right now it seems to have a hiccup every now and again.
Sydney Pennington now trying to figure out Juarez. One hit given up by Juarez in this game. Pinch hit by Sydney Springfield to lead off the sixth, and a ball that ticked off the glove of Sydney Romero. Juarez can keep this as a one-hitter. It will be her sixth start of the year where she's given up one hit or less. Sixth, including the 2 perfect games. Also out of play. Got her. The perfect way to end the game. Juarez with 13 strikeouts, 4 in a row, follows up a perfect game with a 1-hit shutout.
Oklahoma, their 36th consecutive win and their 8th consecutive Big 12 regular season title. Oklahoma gearing up for the postseason, but they've got 2 more against Oklahoma State tomorrow.
And that will be in Stillwater, a great senior night for OU. And G. Juarez, the junior transfer from Arizona State. A couple of home runs, back-to-backers by Clifton and Allo, and then the RBI double by Green. All the scoring that Juarez needed to win it 3-0. For Jenny Dalton Hill, I'm Pam Ward. Juarez, spectacular as she wins and goes to 21-0 on the season. Coming up next, we have Top Rank Boxing. We say so long from Norman, Oklahoma. Patty Gasso and crew, a job well done.